everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Tried and Tested podcast. I am your host, Tracey. And now, if you're not familiar with my show, this is a dating and relationship podcast where we talk about all things that cross the whole dating spectrum. So we talk about love lives, we talk about the lack thereof, we talk about finances, first dates, anything involved in dating and relationships in this day and age. So without further ado, today I have my beautiful friend Naisha as my special guest. Say hey, Naisha.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. And so I just want to get right into the topic. So the topic that I have today is called the ride or die mentality. And as I'm saying that, I'm putting air quotes around that phrase. Okay, so what does that mean to you? What does that term ride or die mentality mean for people who may not know?
Ride or die mentality is like someone that's willing to do whatever for who they're with, or friend, or guy friend, or romantic friend.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Okay, so somebody who, go ahead.
Yeah, like somebody who's willing to do whatever, even if it goes against their morals, even if it goes against themselves, they kind of put the other person first, or whatever.
Okay. So do you have examples of like what that would be? Like, I know you're saying putting yourself first, but in which ways? Like, what are some things that you've seen either in your own relationships or just in general where someone is ride or die and this is how far that they're going, for this person?
Well, me being from Newark, I do have a lot of hood, more hood friends. Yeah. And I had this hood guy I was, friends with, and he was saying, if I was in a car with the female and we get pulled over and I give her my gun because I know she only going to get 2 years, but I'm going to get 14 years because I did stuff before, I'm expecting her to take them charges. And that's just not it.
No, but I'm sorry I laughed. I didn't mean to laugh like that. But that's a good example though, because I wasn't even thinking about that. But I guess that will help the listeners who don't know what ride or die means, to actually understand it. So in layman's terms, I feel like for me, that's another word, like it's another phrase to kind of glorify stupidity, right?
Right.
But I guess on the basis of love though, like, okay, this is my friend or this is my partner, and so I love them, and so I'm willing to go as far as to kind of go to jail for them if I have to for something I didn't do just for that type of thing. Okay. So I definitely hear this term a lot in songs. Like when I was growing up, I would hear rappers and things, talk about, mommy's a rider and all of that. So it's kind of just like, I feel like, but in those songs, they kind of glorify it, but so to give my idea or my standpoint of ride or die mentality, I don't think that it's something that's completely negative. I think there is some positivity to it too, but I feel like the people who normally say those words or that I've seen growing up are people who don't treat the person that they're with good. They don't treat the person right. They don't treat them, you know what I'm saying? But it's like they expect a woman to kind of grin and bear it and take everything that's being thrown her way. So I'll use Fabulous, for instance. If anybody knows the rapper Fabulous, in his song, that is one of the lyrics that he had. I talk about mommy's a rider, but then I do know that he cheats on his girlfriend all the time, that he beats her and things like that. So I feel like you don't need to necessarily be a ride or die if the person is not treating you well. Now, if you have, first of all, I don't even like the words ride or die because I feel like, why we gotta die? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Why can't I just be down for you? But, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like if you have a great person that you're with and, you guys are in a great relationship and so on and so forth, of course, you ride until the wheels fall off. Like, you staying with this person till death do us part kind of thing. So that's probably the good way of it. Till death do us part if you're in a good relationship or marriage. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, okay, so have you ever experienced this before? Have you ever been in a situation where you were ride or die for somebody that you were going, that was what you were doing?
I've never been a ride or die for somebody. I'll ride with you, but yeah, like you said, why we gotta die? Like,
right.
I'm not, like, why do I have to do anything that makes me uncomfortable because of the choices that you made? I mean, like, I love you, but make better choices. We have the same cup of tea.
Yeah, go ahead, girl.
Like, if you want to add sugar to yours, you add sugar. But don't be mad if you put too much sugar and then want to sip on mine. No, this is my cup.
Yes. No, I definitely agree. Like, I feel like we're different individuals. And obviously, like, when you do see these things happen, like, I think on Snap or on, like, you know, the Oxygen channel, like, different things where you see a lot of times, it seems to me that the woman is the one who's the one riding, you know, and the woman is going the hardest for the person, yes.
Right.
And so you end up throwing your life away for someone. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Well, do you think that, do you think that that mentality or that mindset is something that is a state of mind, or what do you think? Like, do you think that's healthy? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, in a sense, it depends. Like you said, it can't be all bad, but an excessive amount of anything is just at some point too much. Like, say for instance, I have a man and I've been with him for years. If he's getting jumped, I'm getting in front of him. I'm jumping in because I'm not about to just watch him get hurt. That's a situation that he's in that he probably didn't even put himself in, and, you know, things like that. Or even like with some, I don't know if I should say this, but some bank scammers, like, these guys would be like, oh yeah, like, let me get your bank information. Baby, bye. No, it's not happening.
Oh, gotcha. They trying to put you in something. Okay. So that definitely makes sense. So you have to definitely be alert. But let's rewind real quick. You said if your man is getting jumped, then you would jump in. So I feel like,
right.
I mean, I guess, okay, so in a sense, or whatever, I know earlier you mentioned friendships, but this is more or less probably in relationships, right, with someone that you're actually with and you're romantically, you know, involved with in that way. Because I'm thinking, like, I don't know if I would just, I mean, but I guess if you love the person, you're not trying to see them go out like that, but I'm also not going to jump in front of another man's fist because I know I'm a woman, you know what I'm saying? So, but okay, so I feel like in this case, then yes, like, you know, to some degree you do have that in you as far as wanting to, you know, support the person that you're with, you know, to different lengths, you know. So okay, I guess I see that. All right. So I would say, but you said you haven't really had this in your life. I'm just trying to think for myself. Have I ever been like that? Like, I've been in situations where I've been stupid, you know, to the point of like just stupider than stupid. I've been there, but it's like I don't think I've been like so far gone. But do you think that, okay, so when we talk about people, because it hasn't specifically happened to you, when you see this or the friends that you've had, do you feel like there's benefits in being a ride or die, female or male? Or do you think it's a complete waste of time?
For me, it's a waste of time, but I have seen them feel like they were benefiting from it. They felt like they were loved. They felt like they were accepted, like the guy wasn't going to leave them. Like, they didn't mind going out like that. But like you said, I feel like being a ride or die is almost like you being, the die part is stupid. The ride part is, I'm with you, I'm riding with you. But the die part is like, all right, let me be the driver right now. No, you man, leave. Go ahead.
I mean, I guess. Like I said, I'm really trying to just think. I'm just like, okay, so basically what you're saying, I mean, because obviously I don't think that what the terminology for die means. I mean, hopefully they don't mean that for you to actually be 6 feet under, but it's just to go to that extreme that there is nothing that you would not do for this person. And I feel like that's an extreme level of love, I would say. And I'm just wondering, like, where do you draw the line from being supportive of your partner and being stupid for love? You know what I mean?
That's deep.
Yeah, because people are going to jail for the person that they love, and like you said, but they leave them, right? You do so much.
Right, come out
like. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Yeah, I was about to say come out like Cookie. Like, if you watch Empire, that was her riding and dying.
For the people who don't watch it.
Oh, for sure. So Empire is like, all right. So we have Taraji P. Henson, and we have I forgot the guy's name, but the guy. And basically, she took a charge for him. She took the charge for him so that he could start the music business. Yeah. So he took all her money, started the music business. It was successful. She got out of jail. He's married again. Wow.
Okay. All right. No, but that happens often, I'm sure. It's kind of just like you love somebody so much and you'll do something for them, but they won't do it for you necessarily, and they won't even remember what you did for them. You know what I mean? And I don't watch Empire now, but I remember years ago when it first came out, when I did see is that not only was she in jail for him, but he never visited her. So it's kind of just like, there's no loyalty in it. So I feel like I feel like ride or die is cool, I guess, if it's two people. Like maybe if you're married and it's you and your husband, y'all feel the same way. But oftentimes, like I said, it's just on one person. It's just, put off on one person. So let me see. Do you think being in a situation like this is unfair and unnecessary? I think you kind of said yes earlier because you felt like, but I guess delve a little bit more into what you think about that.
Mhm. Well, I do think it's unfair, but I feel like when it comes to being a ride or die, usually it's only in situations that the other person put themselves in. And that's why I'm so against it most of the time, because usually it's only in hood situations. It's only in situations with a rich folk, they doing a Ponzi scheme and they want their wife to hide the money or burn it up and go in the backyard and like we gotta move. Like, at some point it's just it's not needed for every situation.
Okay, no, I definitely understand it. So do you feel like the person who is asking someone to do something for them, I guess you feel like it's uncalled for, essentially? But, okay, so imagine you're in a relationship and you love somebody, you really, really love them, and maybe something happens where, because essentially what I think is that when you're with somebody, you know what they're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's an illegal activity or whatever, and maybe even though you may not be part of it, you turn a blind eye to it, but you know that something is going on, correct?
Right.
And so do you feel like in any way, shape, or form that if they decide to ask you, like, hey, honey, can you do this for me, do you feel like it's wrong for them to ask you? And it's like...
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, honey, please.
Yes, I feel like it's so wrong because I feel like if you love me, if you think if you love me, right, and you think I love you enough to do what you're about to ask me to do, then you should love me enough to not even ask me to do that. Because you know I'm going to just do it if you think I love you as much as you think I love you.
So why are you with somebody? I mean, I think I get it a little bit, but I'm just wondering, like, then why would you be with somebody? And this is why I wish we had someone that actually experienced this kind of lifestyle, because now I'm curious about the mindset behind it. You know what I mean? But, like, why are you with somebody who's committing crime?
Yeah.
Or, it may not, it don't have to just be crimes, because people ride or die for so many different things, right? But it's just like, and then you don't want to do the love aspect of it. You don't want to, you know what I mean?
Right. But granted now, say for instance a guy, all right, so say for instance you have a guy, like he's a guy friend, you guys have been dating for a long time, and now you are talking about getting serious, he's courting you, everything seems good, everything seems perfect, because, the devil is deceitful. So everything seems perfect, and then, he's going out to work, he comes back to you, takes you out, and on this particular day, he went out to work, he comes back, picks you up, you're in the car with them, you're not suspecting anything, you guys get pulled over, and he says, look, I got drugs in the trunk, could you just say it's yours? And you only going to get probably like 3 days because I know somebody in there, but if they see me again, the judge is not going to be lenient to me. What are you doing?
Like for me, I'm scared of that life. But you know what I'm trying to say? But I feel like usually if you're dealing with somebody and you're living a certain lifestyle, whether you know about what they're doing or you have an idea, I feel like you can't be that oblivious, right? And so therefore I feel like, I wonder, is that like in the contract, if you want to date me, this is what you got to do, this is what you don't have to do? Like I really do wonder. Because that just
I feel like you could say you can't be that oblivious, but in so many situations, people are oblivious. People are young. People are not thinking that deep. Some people just don't think that deep. Some people just don't have that much substance to them as of yet because they haven't matured yet. So you are a mature woman. So you are able to say, no, I will never be in a situation like that. But a young 20-year-old or 19, 18, they get in situations like that all the time. Whether white, black, green, purple, they all get in a situation because they are in those stages of when they're trying to love and they're trying to get love. So they'll do anything for it.
And they think that that's cute or cool as far as society's standards go. So, oh, wow. Like I said, that's interesting, definitely. But like I said, I know for myself, I just feel like, I'm not in love currently, so I don't necessarily know. But I'm just wondering, of course, and when you're younger, maybe that's different. I feel like now, like you said, as maturity has come into the picture, that would not be the case as far as even choosing the right kind of person. So, yeah, I guess that's definitely true. That's definitely true. Okay,
Right.
so what about the ride or die mentality as far as, let's say you were dating somebody and he is a scammer, right? And that's the lifestyle he was living. What do you feel about, okay, he gets locked up, he goes to jail. Do you feel like in this case then you're going to serve the jail sentence with him? Let's say he has 10 years, 15 years because you love him. Do you feel like that is also considered ride or die, and is it something that you would do?
It's definitely considered ride or die, but it's not something I would do.
Okay.
Because you made your money. Even with children, no. Who's going to stay home and raise the children if we're both in jail? You do your bit, I'm staying home with the kids. That's wrong.
Exactly. But so what I'm saying is when you stay home with the children, are you still going to be dealing with this man, or do you feel like that's the end of the relationship for you? Like you feel like, okay, I got to go. Like, cause I feel like that's a part of ride or die as well, when you see women, and I've seen this, and I had this conversation recently where I see women on like social media and stuff, and you are literally taking pictures with your baby father or your man or your whoever in the jail cell.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I can't, because at some point it's like you have to consider me. So if you're not considering me, that's showing me, like, if you end up in jail, that's showing that you didn't consider me in the moment you decided to do what you wanted to do. You wanted to make the quick 30,000 or however much thousand. You're scamming. You know you're going to get caught. You're doing wrong. You're going to get caught. So if I know that you're doing it, I wouldn't want to be involved with you in the first place, because I know the risk I'm putting myself in. I know what I want my goals to be. And first of all, why we got kids together and you scamming? Like, I don't want my kids growing up with the dad that's a scammer. Like,
but I wouldn't
want to do that.
Listen, some people say you can't help who you fall in love with, and some people have been together, not that is right, but people have been together for so many years of their life. And so I just definitely, I wonder, like, you know, in that situation, what do you do? But I would say that, you know, I know that we've all been in love before, right? So we know that love does not just end things immediately. Like, let's say this happens, you don't just fall out of love with the person. And so, but what I will say is I've seen that it breeds animosity, right? If I see a woman who's down for this ride or die mentality, typically that means that your partner, your spouse, whatever, he's not with you at the moment, right? He's probably caught up. He's probably in jail. He's probably, you know, whatever. He could even be dead, you know what I'm saying? But people are still riding and still doing whatever they do. But one of the things I've noticed is that it breeds animosity because you kind of give up your life for somebody else, right?
Yeah.
So while you have the option to kind of be out and about and you're living, while you could be living, while you could be dating, while you could be doing whatever it is that you could be doing, you're almost like your heart is locked up with that person wherever they are. So I don't know if you've seen that before.
Right. I know exactly what you mean with that. And now that you talk about it, I want to ask you a question. I'm sorry. I know I didn't answer like how I felt about the being locked up together thing, but so I was recently in a situation where I had met a guy. We were dealing with each other, and he told me from the get-go that he had a kid, he had a baby mother, told me that he wasn't dealing with her at all, and blah, blah, blah. So we're dealing with each other. I think I was being a ride or die at this point already, with you telling me you got a kid and I'm still going to deal with you. That's being a ride or die.
What?
But,
no, it's not. Okay, let me let you finish.
All right, but I'm going to tell you when I really became a ride or die. So I became a ride or die when he decided to tell me, like this is months after we were talking, he decided to tell me his kid had a first birthday party. He came home, well not came home, but came to see me and told me that he didn't have a good day because at the birthday party his baby mother told him that she was pregnant, but they was already dealing with each other months prior to me and him talking. So, or getting to know each other or dating, whatever you want to call it. So she was already pregnant, but he had just found out, quote unquote. Is that me being a ride or die by sticking with him? Because I didn't stick with him though. Because I did, but then I thought about it, but then I cut him off.
Okay, so we're going to definitely take this conversation offline, but what I will say is that's not, I don't think that has anything to do with ride or die. I feel like that's just that's a man that lied. It's a man who is not trustworthy. I feel like I often hear that you should not date a man who has a child under a certain age because oftentimes it's kind of just like, what exactly is going on there? And then of course when you have a baby, that sometimes can bring two people together. Like a baby won't keep a man, but sometimes you have, doctor's appointments, the baby is sick, first birthday, second birthday, school, and there's so much communication between the man and the baby mother that it's just like, that's just not advisable. But yeah, that's definitely not ride or die. But it's kind of like he tried to play you. And now he also wanted you to be understanding. And that's what I think happens as well. I think a lot of times when I see movies about the mafia and, God knows what, drug dealers and all of that, oftentimes, not always, the woman is always much younger than the guy. Yeah. And that's how they're able to kind of like mold and manipulate her. But, so yeah, like I said, we're going to take this conversation offline because I got some things to say and they're not related to this topic. So I don't want to confuse the listeners. Yes. So, okay, Nye, before we leave or whatever, do you have any last words about the topic for, ride or die and women or men who do it?
I would just say anybody who's listening, I advise against being a ride or die. I'm sorry. I do. I feel like being a ride or die is just not a good option for yourself. I feel like it's putting the other person first, which you should always do. But sometimes you got to consider yourself most of the time. Most of the time you got to consider yourself first.
Okay. All right. No, I definitely agree. I feel like the ride or die, I feel like that phrase is not the best word that you could use. I think that you should be married. And the kind of phrase you should kind of go with is till death do us part, with a good husband or a good wife.
Yes.
Like, if they're no good, don't kill yourself for somebody because they probably won't do it for you. So now, if anybody wants to get in contact with you or they have any questions or anything that they want to talk about, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at insanelypink.
Okay, cool. All right, honey bun. Well, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time out today to discuss this with me. And to my listeners, I thank you guys so much for tuning in for another episode of Tried and Tested. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. So until next time, adios.
Adios.